In iOS 17 and macOS 14, the Messages app introduces an innovative feature designed to enhance user safety. It now has the capability to detect nudity in images and videos sent by your contacts. When such content is identified, the app proactively displays a warning overlay on the image or video preview. This alert serves as a precaution, informing you about the sensitive nature of the content before you view it. This is great, but did you know you can use this API in your own app? In this video, you will learn how to configure it. This API is called Sensitive Content Analysis and will process on device if an image or video contains nudity to then give you the chance to inform the user about it. But before using it into your project, you have to do a couple of things. First, let's add a new entitlement in your app called Sensitive Content Analysis. You can do this going to your project settings, selecting your app's target, clicking on Sign-in and Capabilities, and clicking Plus Capability option. Now type Sensitive in the search bar. Now you should see it. Just click on it and the entitlement will be added to your project. Just one little comment. This entitlement is only available for individual and paid Apple developer accounts. That means enterprise and free accounts cannot use this capability. Sorry about that. Now that the entitlement is placed, let's enable sensitive analysis in your phone. There are two ways to activate it. One is going to Privacy and Security, scrolling down until Duration, Sensitive Content Warning, and then toggle the option. From here, you can also enable or disable this capability for each app individually. The second option is going to Screen Time, Communication Safety, and then activating this toggle. Now, what's the difference between these two options? The first one is the source of truth to enable sensitive content analysis. It's designed for apps primarily used for adults. The second option is designed for children. If you are a parent and you want to protect your kids, you can enable it in apps like Messages. They will receive extra layers of protection besides just blurring image, like getting a full screen model with more information, or ways to get help and block the contact. If communication safety is enabled, then sensitive content warning will be activated too, regardless if the user didn't activate the option earlier. It will also block the access to disable it. In your app, you can detect which of the options was enabled through Sensitive Analysis Policy. If the policy returns simple interventions, that means we only activated sensitive content warning. And if descriptive interventions is obtained, then it was communication safety. For the purpose of this video, I will use sensitive content warning only. Now that the entitlement and the sensitive content warning are set, it's time to implement the sensitive content analysis in our app. Before starting, remember that this is an API only available on iOS 17 and macOS 14. If your app will support older OS versions, use available attribute to use it in newer versions. I have a video explaining this in the description. This demo will use iOS 17 has minimum deployment target, so we are good to go. Let's create an app with two buttons. Each button, when pressed, will retrieve an image stored on the device and determine whether it's okay to view or if it contains nudity. Let's start importing sensitive content analysis. Now let's create a function called Analyze that will receive an image name of type string. The buttons will call this function later to process the image and get the result. Now let's create a variable analyzer of type SC-sensitive-analyzer. This object is the source of truth for everything related to content-sensitive analysis. From there, we will get the current analysis policy. As I mentioned earlier, we need to get the policy to verify if sensitive content warning or communication safety is enabled. Otherwise, we will receive disabled. And that's what we need to review next. If policy is disabled, we can't analyze the image. If the API is returning this, please review the entitlement and the sensitive content toggles from settings. Moving on, let's grab the image using image name parameter. And finally, we are ready to analyze the content. Sensitive Analyzer is capable to review images and videos. For the case of images, you can either analyze an image file from a particular URL or directly from memory. If you use the URL format, please remember that only file URLs will work. If you try a web URL, the response will fail. If you use the in-memory version, you have to convert the image to CG image. That's the approach we will follow in this demo, and that's why I'm using UI image to get the image. By the way, for videos, you can only use local URL format. Now, since this statement might throw an error, let's wrap the analysis process using doCatch. And also, we should mark this function as async too. Okay, if everything goes well, we can finally get a response. We simply review if response.isSensitive is true or false. In case of true, we show the warning, alert, blur the image, or do anything you want to protect the user. Keep in mind that you can also review the current policy to verify if a child is at risk with this content and make even more steps for their own safety. Alright, the core functionality is ready. Now let's finish the UI and make some improvements. First, let's add this enum to track the analysis state or reporting any error. Now let's add these two properties to track the state and the error message. Let's open a vStack with padding, add the buttons, and add a message on the view depending on the result. Finally, let's update analyze function to support analysis state. And that's basically it. Now let's find two images to use them in the project. For the first image, let's use this one of me touching snow for the first time ever. And for the second image, we will need one with nudity to test the app. I know what you're thinking. Should I go to the X site to grab any sensitive content? I mean, not that X site, the other X site. No, you don't need to download content from sketchy places. Apple provides a safety way to test sensitive content analysis framework without exposing you. You can go to this page that I will leave in the description and download an image or video to test your app with this QR code image. By default, this image is safe. But in order to make it a false positive, you have to download a debug profile. This is great, at least in theory, because unfortunately I got an error trying to install the profile in my device, and looks like it's an issue that Apple hasn't resolved yet, so this will not work for us, at least on the time I'm recording this video. Okay. Looks like we have to download sensitive content after all. But then I thought, what would be a less risky way to do this? And then I got it. Let's use Lena. For those who don't know Lena, Lena used to work for an adult content magazine in the 60s, and her most famous picture is this one. Why do we care about it? Well, because this image has been used by scientists for decades in machine learning, more specific in image processing and visual computing. And since it's related to computer science in some way, let's use it as our second image. But the one you are seeing in the screen is just a portion of the original image. We will use the actual full body image. Of course, I'm censoring this to you because, you know, I want to keep my YouTube channel alive, but you get the idea. By the way, I'm aware of the controversy about using this picture for researching purposes. Let me clarify that I'm using this picture because I don't have any other choice until Apple fixes the debug profile I mentioned earlier. And I'm doing this just for you to demonstrate this API. So please refrain from any comment not related to the use of this framework. Okay, it's finally time to test the app. Let's update the image name and buttons. Okay, let's run it. And let's do it from a device, because in simulator we cannot toggle sensitive content warning from settings. And just to clarify, because the device is not showing my finger, I'm first touching Bit button and then Lena. And there you have it. The app is correctly informing the user about the image content. Now I would like to know, what do you think about this API? Will you use it in your app? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Lastly, the source code and all the documentation links are in the description. Thanks to my friend Hector Moreno for helping me with the setup at the beginning of the video. He's a good guy and was just acting. Remember, my name is Pete and this is Soy Fan Tips. Thanks for watching and have a great day.